You've seen thousands of flamingo photos, thousands on screensavers and zoos, on mugs, on the wallpaper of every tropical themed cafe you've ever walked into. And somehow, not once did you stop and ask, where's the other leg? Yes, like it's just gone. Half the bird missing. Is it broken? Is it asleep? Is this just a vibe the flamingo decided to commit to? Why don't they fall over? Why did they seem to do it more? When the water is cold, does the other leg just cease to exist temporarily? And here's the one that should bother you most. Why can you not stand on one leg for more than 3 seconds without your arms flailing like you're landing a plane? The flamingo is doing it motionless, in water, possibly while sleeping. The answer isn't what you think, and once you hear it, you're going to feel a little silly for never asking sooner. Here's the scene you've seen 100 times. You're at the zoo, maybe 8 years old, maybe last Tuesday, like, it doesn't matter. You walk past the flamingo enclosure, and there they are. Yeah, pink, improbably tall, standing in shallow water like a collection of living lawn ornaments. One leg tucked completely under the body, still as a photograph. The whole thing looks effortful, like they're performing some advanced bird yoga just to exist. That's the assumption almost everyone carries. Like, that the one-legged stance is hard, that it takes concentration, balance, core strength, whatever flamingo equivalent of a personal trainer is involved. Here's the first twist. It's the opposite. Standing on one leg for a flamingo is less effort than standing on two. Not slightly less, significantly less. Like, girl, the pose isn't a flex, it's a rest. Most people, when pressed, guess it's a balance trick, or just the way flamingo anatomy works by default, or that the tucked leg is cold or somehow injured. Some people genuinely believe it's a quirk, like how some dogs tilt their head. Just a cute, weird thing the species decided to do. The cartoon version of the flamingo hardwired this into culture. One leg equals personality, aesthetic, logo material. It doesn't look like survival strategy. It looks like a choice made by an animal with a strong personal brand. But that framing is exactly wrong, and the real reason is so straightforward it almost feels anticlimactic, except that once you understand the mechanism, it becomes genuinely elegant. Flamingos are warm-blooded. That sounds obvious, but follow it through. They spend their entire lives standing in cold, shallow water, filtering food, socializing, existing, and cold water pulls heat out of a body dramatically faster than cold air does. Every minute both legs are submerged, heat is bleeding out through the skin and into the water around them. So what do you do if you're a bird and you cannot leave the water, but you need to stop losing heat? You pull one leg out. Tuck it against your body where it's warm. Suddenly you've cut your heat loss surface area almost in half. It's the same logic as keeping your hands in your pockets on a cold day. Reduce exposure, reduce loss. Simple physics applied to a pink bird. But here's where it gets better. The flamingo doesn't have to work to stay upright on that one leg. They have a passive locking mechanism in their leg joint, a kind of biological kickstand that holds them vertical with almost zero muscle engagement. They're not balancing heroically. Are they parked, the leg just locks, the bird relaxes, and the whole system ticks along at minimal energy cost while the tucked leg stays warm. So the pose that looks like the most effortful thing in the animal kingdom is actually the flamingo equivalent of kicking back in a recliner. So now here's where people get confused, because flamingos aren't the only bird you see standing still in water. A heron does it too. Motionless, patient, one focused stare into the water below. But the heron is hunting. Total stillness is camouflage, a way to become invisible to the fish beneath the surface until the moment to strike. Same pose, completely different logic. The flamingo isn't hunting anything. It's heating itself, and when a flamingo sleeps one-legged, it adds another layer. The head tucks under a wing, sealing the other major heat loss zone on the body. Full thermal lockdown, two systems running simultaneously, powered by almost no active effort. Picture this. East Africa, roughly 3 million years ago. Shallow alkaline lakes, soda lakes. So caustic, the water can strip the skin off most animals that wade into it for too long. Flamingos are there anyway because those lakes are full of the algae and microorganisms they eat, and nothing else wants to compete for it. The birds that survived in that environment longest weren't necessarily the strongest or the fastest. And they were the ones that could stay in that harsh water for hours without burning through their energy reserves or losing dangerous amounts of body heat. The ones with a locking joint and a one-leg habit lasted longer, fed more, and raised more offspring. The ones without it slowly lost the competition. Not dramatically, just incrementally, generation after generation. That one-legged stance is a 3 million-year-old solution to a very specific thermal engineering problem. It wasn't invented, and it was selected for the slow way. And once you know this, you realize you've been looking at it your entire life. Every zoo visit since childhood. That screensaver that lived on the office computer for years, plastic lawn flamingos, which, by the way, only have one leg spike molded in because even kitsch manufacturers defaulted to the iconic pose without knowing why it existed. Nature documentaries with those wide pink lake shots. The flamingo emoji, one leg, always. On to the sleepover dare, where someone challenges you to stand on one leg and you immediately start windmilling your arms. Every wildlife photo where a kid tugs a parent's sleeve and asks, wait, where's the other leg? And the parent says, that's just what they do, without ever actually knowing why. One honest caveat though, thermoregulation is the leading explanation and it's well supported, but it isn't the only one on the table. Scientists have noted that flamingos sometimes stand one-legged in warm water too, which suggests that simple muscle rest and fatigue recovery might also be part of the picture. It probably depends on the individual bird, the temperature, the time of day, the situation. Juveniles, for what it's worth, are noticeably wobbly at this, like they improve with age and practice. The locking joint is also genuinely specific to flamingo anatomy. You cannot train yourself to do this. There is no exercise program. Your leg just doesn't work that way. So here's the reset. The flamingo is not being quirky. It's not posing. It's not broken. It is running an ancient, passive, elegantly simple thermal management system that it inherited from millions of years of survival in some of the harshest water environments on the planet. And it's doing it while using almost no energy, while you need a chair after 10 minutes of standing at a kitchen counter. Next time someone points at a flamingo and calls it weird, you'll know it's not weird. It's closer to engineering than aesthetics, and the animal that does something even stranger for almost the same reason, that one's next.